Hi, I'm Arthur Moats, and I'm here to talk to you about my book, The Moats Theory of Life, and the amazing holiday deal we have going on right now. If you purchase a hardback book, you will receive a paperback copy half off as part of our holiday bundle. This book makes for a great gift for yourself or others and will leave you feeling inspired and impactful. So go to moatstheory.com right now and get your copy so you can start living a more fulfilled life. What's up? It's the Arthur Moats Experience with Deke. I'm Arthur Moats, and that's my main man, Deke.
What's up, bro?
Come on, baby. It's Super Wildcard Weekend.
Dude, these games are going to be crazy, especially the AFC, but this is going to be a great weekend for football.
Absolutely. I'm excited about that, and more importantly, I'm excited because it's another episode brought to you by DRAFTKINGS Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook and app. Deke, we both know it's number one, safe. It's number two, secure. And number three, it's reliable, Deke. It's reliable. Just like a team that we know, very reliable. But on top of that, for all the first-time users out there, if you use the promo code MOATS, you will receive up to $1,000 in deposit bonus money. So don't waste no money. Don't waste no time. Don't waste any time. Download the app. Use the promo code. Get an opportunity to make a little money. Because that's all we want, right? It's an opportunity. I don't want much. and now that I think about it.
You got a little dramatic there at the end.
I did. Because I started to realize how significant this opportunity is because, let's be real, it's 32 teams in the NFL, but only 14 teams are going to get an opportunity to utilize DraftKings to wager on their team that's in the playoffs. Not every team makes it to the playoffs. Not saying that you can't wager on other teams, but your specific team, it's only 14.
There's always a little something
like
extra
that,
there
right?
whenever you bet on your team. There always is.
And for us, we got that opportunity again. That's why I'm excited, man. We got the opportunity to watch our team play. Not watch good football, watch somebody else ball. We get to see us in the action exclusively.
I saw some of our lines too. I'm kind of liking what I'm seeing.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely,
what,
baby.
3.5?
Hey, wait. Play with it if you want to. So, man, I'm excited, bro. I feel like, man, obviously we're going to get into this past game, but dude, just everything that we saw transpire yesterday, if you're a Steelers fan, you got to be super excited about this next coming Sunday night game, man. Like,
it was just, that was really a fun game.
It was.
I'm not going to lie.
It surprised a lot of us too, man.
Usually throughout Ben's career, whenever we got to sit him for the last game or two, if we already have a playoff spot locked up, it's just, you're just looking forward to the playoffs. But everything we talked about in the last podcast, this one was going to be interesting. And I actually thought it lived up to the hype. It was a really enjoyable game.
Man. It definitely did. I thought the people that we talked about going into that game too played well in terms of in terms of Mason Rudolph, Josh Dobbs, and Randy Fichtner. I thought all three of those guys had a major part in terms of impressing us yesterday. I don't think any of us anticipated it looking anywhere near that. Even me, who's a little bit more optimistic about Mason, I still didn't see that. That was beautiful. I was very much impressed, man. And everybody that was on the watch party as well, man, we did yesterday, they were impressed with him as well, man. I was surprised because Mason's a hot topic right now. He's a lightning rod. He's become that in Pittsburgh a little bit right now, man.
Well, it wasn't looking too hot in the first quarter or even into the second quarter. But yeah, he really turned it around and showed some stuff. I mean, you could see some throws he was making.
He had a nice throw in the first to Claypool, man. It was right on target.
Yeah, but then you just saw some inconsistency. He wasn't really too hot in the pocket there. He stood like a statue sometimes. But then, man, he really turned it on. I think it was like the last drive before the first half was over. And then, even the second half, you could see some like pep in his step as he's dropping back. Like there was almost like a rhythm. I'm like,
telling you, man,
this was different.
You need a little confidence. This looked like Mason versus the Jets when he came in.
It did.
That was the confidence. It looked totally different.
Even better, I think.
Absolutely. Way better. Way better. And this is what we talked about when we said why I didn't want to hold that Cowboys game against him. I said, it's different. Cold. No, seriously. This is why. We said it's a difference between cold on the sideline, no expectation to go in, thrust into action, tight situation where we want you to be aggressive, but not aggressive because we don't want you to turn the ball, but we're in position to score. That's a janky situation for him. This was drastically different. This was a week full of Randy Fichtner game planning with him, finding out what he's comfortable with, what he can do well, what he can't do well. And then from there, him not having to worry about, is Ben coming back out of the locker room? Am I still the guy? All right,
wasn't even there.
Like, yeah, so he had nothing to concern himself with. He could just play. And you saw him just do that. And that's what, to me, I was so impressed with him. We're going to get into him a lot more because obviously we got the questions. And
I'm sure.
Yeah, he was dominating the questions. Him, Dobbs, dominated the questions. So we're going to get into them a lot more. But, man, I was very impressed, though, initially, man.
Nothing on Mondo.
Are you see any Mondo questions? Man. I was a little sad, too. I didn't get any dots in action. Shout out to the jersey, though. 6'9" in the building.
I got to start wearing it because I'm starting to see a lot of comments on Twitter and stuff. Oh, it's time for me to get a Dawson jersey. I'm like, no, I was the originator. Yes. I talked about this, I think, 2 or 3 weeks ago. So actually, there may be some people that got the jersey before me, but I think I'm before most people. We'll put it that way. So I got to stake my claim.
I like it. Ahead of the curve with the jerseys, huh?
I think. Wait, why do you say that?
No, because
there's something I'm missing here.
I ain't gonna mess with you today.
Please. I'm
not gonna do that to you today. I mean, we're gonna do it.
No, I want to hear this
because we're gonna get into
what am I missing with this?
But
jersey?
I was like, it's funny. You're ahead of the curve, right? You like being ahead of the curve with the jersey selections or pronouncing who's the number one receiver. You're always proactive, right? You're always progressive. You're looking forward. But when it comes to quarterback, no progressive, no looking forward, stuck in your ways.
I told you that Ben has deserved that consistency and takes throughout his career. He just has. He really has.
It's just so career. Funny. I'm like, everything else, bro, you are so ahead of the, like, when it comes to technology, bro, you're like, bro, I'm doing this 3 years ago. I'm like, dude, you are so advanced. But when it comes to that quarterback, oh, no. We're not even opening eyes.
Wait, hold on, though. I even think, though, outside of Ben, I've been stubborn with Brady. My Brady takes, I've consistently said.
But Brady's balled out. Brady threw for 4,600 yards this year, 40 touchdowns.
But I said this last year when everyone was doubting him and saying he's washed up and stuff. I guess you could even say Rodgers. I mean, I still had him in my top 10. Like, I'm not too quick to write off some of these guys that have been so great throughout the course of their career, especially with how quarterbacks are aging. Yeah. So I think actually that's the trend. Like, quarterbacks are aging. Quarterbacks are aging well. So
get out of here.
Quarterbacks are aging well.
You can't say they're aging well when you keep naming the same guys. No.
The elite quarterbacks.
Well, they're already there. Yeah, they were already elite. It didn't matter if they were 19 or if they were 40. They were already there.
People are too quick to write them off. So I'm actually telling you guys what the trend is. That these elite quarterbacks are aging well. You guys are looking way past it. That's what it is.
You are funny, man.
That's what it is.
You are funny.
And Dawson, yeah.
Yeah, I like it, though. Shout out to the jersey, though, baby. Shout out to the jersey. So let's dive into some of these questions. I love it. See, I'm just glad that you took a less aggressive approach with me. I ain't want you to like sock me for having a disagreement with you.
What are you talking about?
Some people, man, they get to throwing hands when they have a little disagreement with people on their sideline. Well, we'll get into that later.
Is that a question? It's got to be, right? I didn't think anything of it, but all right, we'll wait.
Yeah. I mean, it's a question, but it's not a question.
Okay,
but I mean, we can start with that.
Sure.
Who you think won? Carlos Davis or Isaiah Bugs?
I can't even remember it because it was so much of an afterthought. To be honest with you, I don't know who punched who. To be honest with you, I can't remember.
So the way it started, they both had a conversation on the sideline. Isaiah Bugs and Carlos Davis. Quick little conversation. Then from there, you get a 4-piece by Carlos Davis to Isaiah Bugs. Just bop, 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 right on the spot. And then Bugs is kind of like, all right, takes a deep breath, looks back to the field. But yeah, it was definitely talked about. Even doing my Steelers show, we had to talk about it a couple of times as well.
Really?
Yeah, it was a big deal.
That's what I mean. I haven't even thought much of it. You see it one time, and I'm just like, all right, it's over. It's football. It's what happens in the heat of the moment. I really didn't think much of it.
That's how I took it as well, man. The biggest thing was Davis crossing the line, putting his hands on him. You can argue, you can push, you don't punch me in the face. Period. No, seriously. Like it was that simple. I mean,
I would have never thought that based off the interview too that we had.
I know, right? He seemed so like just mild tempered, like wow. And then the verse, I said, shout out to Bugs. I didn't think Bugs was the type that like, okay, I'm gonna take the higher road, turn the other cheek. Like I didn't expect that from Bugs. I thought
Tomlin was right there.
True, but still, I don't. Man, who cares? Who cares? What? Come on now. You put the hands on me? Nah, I don't care. Give me my mama there. I don't care. That's why I said shout out to Bugs though for that, man. Like that showed great discipline and just great maturity. And honestly, like you said, that does happen in terms of when you think about football players, they're wired for what? Physical confrontation. They're wired to express themselves physically, hand to hand, combat. That's what we do, right? So we're wired a little bit differently. We don't react the same as most people react. So that's why a part of me was like, I understand Davis reacting like that because I've reacted like that at times. And everybody knows me. I'm the nice guy, right? I don't get into trouble. I've had altercations with players and coaches at the NFL level, just like that. No exaggeration. So it happens, but you have to handle it better in terms of you can't.
You just didn't throw the hands.
That was pretty much it.
Really?
I was trying to. The difference was Davis wasn't held back. I was restrained. Otherwise, yes, well, the punch would have been thrown without a doubt.
You ever see Jalen Rose on ESPN? Maybe this is the difference between NFL and NBA, where he says with the NBA guys, whenever they're in an altercation, they almost hold themselves back.
For us, it's different. Like for us, when we say we want you, like we really want you. So. It's totally different in terms of you
like NBA. You're almost waiting. Like where's everyone at?
Somebody help me. It's like no. If you better be proactive. You better. What's the Kyle Murray commercial? I'm working on my anticipation. If it's about to go down, you better get your anticipation up because they're not going to wait. As we saw with Davis, you said Coach Tom was right there. Okay, when he's ready to go, he's gonna take off. That's what you do. But the thing is, you have to handle it differently because the reason I say that is this. Number one, it's a lack of respect when you put your hands on another a teammate, especially. In that standpoint, I mean, if you pushing him in his chest, cool, but not punch him in the face. I don't care he has a helmet on. It does not matter. You do not do that, period. Because as easy as Bugs turned the other cheek, Bugs could easily went the Myles Garrett approach as well last year, right? Remember we said with Myles and that, with Myles and Mason, what did we say happened? We said Mason initially reached for his helmet, right? Mm-hmm. And from there, we thought, oh, okay, well, that's the extent of it. We didn't know that Myles was going to take it a whole nother level and grab his helmet and beat him with it, right? So just because we might think that, oh, that was enough of a reaction, it's okay. Yeah. At worst, you might just punch me back. Now, if Bugs would have said, okay, I'm going to take your helmet, Carlos Davis, and start hitting you in your face with it, we would all be singing a different tune right now. So the significance is, and the important lesson for everyone that's listening is keep your hands to yourself. Because I'm dead serious, because you don't know how somebody's going to react. In the heat of the moment, you do not know. And that's a life lesson, man. Like it's like I said, we're laughing at it. We're able to correct it in a lighthearted manner, but that could have easily went a different direction. And don't act as if because they boys or their teammates that type of stuff doesn't happen amongst them, because it does. I've seen some of the most brutal beatings happen between two best buddies. Like it happens. You just never know when you put your hands on somebody. So just think about that. And the other part is the financial ramifications. Coach Simon's probably going to tap his pockets because of that. That's kind of detrimental. It makes the team look bad from just an overall discipline standpoint. And like I said, it could have gotten way more out of hand. So if you're Coach Simon, you're more than likely going to discipline him. It probably won't even be public, but you come in that meeting on wins, it's going to be, hey, all right, guys, welcome to the meeting, da-da-da-da-da. All right, got fines. All right, Davis, hit you over the head. Bing, keep your hands to yourself. Keep on, we're going to move on. And like, it'll be like that. But for him, he's going to learn the financial ramifications of his actions as well, which is important. Just like I said, not even for football, but just life in general, man. So yeah. But I was very much impressed with Bugs though, man. Holy cow.
Like I said, I really didn't even think of it. Yeah, I did not know that would be a hot topic or anything. Yeah. I mean, I think if it was Claypool punching Juju in the face, would it be a hot topic? That would be, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. So just keep the same energy, right?
I guess so. But I don't know. Maybe it'd be a hot topic. I still
think throwing the Gatorades over was a hot topic.
Let me put it this way. What are we talking about here, man? But I will say this. We weren't on the mics or anything. We weren't doing a podcast at the time. I just really never thought anything of that stuff.
I remember.
Me personally. This is me personally. I never thought anything of AB throwing coolers. And if it was Juju and Claypool, like arguing, disagreeing, maybe throwing a punch. I wouldn't.
Not a punch. Multiple punches. It was multiple punches.
I just know, dude. You know this. You even mentioned this. You're hardwired to like. Just being in that type of mindset for a game, like I think things you just move on right after the game's over. That's my opinion though. Like I said, I didn't think much
I'm with you on that. Like I definitely feel like those two dudes will squash it, whether it's from them or it's initiated by a Cam Hayward or Mike Tomlin type. But as a whole, you cannot do that. You can't get. I mean, because like I said, AB throwing the cooler over. In the moment, people, I mean, it was still a big deal. We had to answer questions for it all week about it. Oh man, it's him and Haley having beef like that. Him and Big Ben beefing like that. Heat of the moment, that type of stuff happens. Claypool and Juju get in an argument. That happens. But neither of those scenarios included a person punching another person. That's the biggest difference. When you do that, that's where it crosses that line. And that doesn't matter if you're in practice. It doesn't matter if you're in a game. The punches get thrown. It's a different level. That's the whole
thing. Maybe, is it the helmet that kind of filters it a little bit, it doesn't look as bad, because if they didn't have helmets on and he's able to get a clean shot, that'd be a whole different story.
Yeah. For me, man, and this is the other thing for me. I feel like that approach is more so we would have to react to how everything looked after the fact, right? Oh, his face is bleeding. Now we want to react to it. Now we want to act.
Or even if it was just a clean shot.
But for me, it's more so the action itself, because and this is why I have my biggest complaints when we talk about some of the roughing the passer stuff, right? Or some of these hits on defenseless receivers. If the guy gets up, they're not throwing the flag. They throw the flag because they see the body on the ground, and now they're reacting to the body, not the actual play. We talked about the Mason hit last year with Earl Thomas. We said, man, we've seen quarterbacks get hit like that. The difference was when he was out cold.
Yeah, you got him with the face mask off.
Everybody,
walking.
like, that changed the whole perspective of it. So you flag the reaction, not the actual action itself. So that's why for me, I didn't care if the helmet was on or not. Fair. Because that's the case, then as long as there's no blood, we're not going to act like nothing happened. And either way, it was still a bad move on Davis' part. And Dave, like you said, Davis sounded like a good guy on the interview, man. Who would have thought, man, two guys we interview up here beating each other up?
Yeah, I think both points are fair. It's like not really a big deal going forward at all. But just not the best look.
Correct. Absolutely.
I think that's probably the best way to put it.
Absolutely. But I'm glad you brought that up, man. Well, actually, I guess I
brought it up. I don't know
it was up there. It was up there, but it wasn't.
You don't have it written down?
No, I have it written down. Okay. The reason I said it's up here, but it's not a question. It was phrased as a statement, but it wasn't really like a question about it. So it's a couple of the ones that are kind of like, oh, da-da-da-da, period. And I'm like, well, it's not really a question, but I want to talk about this anyway, so we're going to roll with it. So that was that.
Okay, got you.
Yeah. But now this next one is a question, and I think this is a good one. It sets the tone, man, the good little way. Talking about the guys we want to talk about anyways. All right. So this is from Heather Dope. And shout out to Heather, man. She definitely tunes in, man. What were your thoughts on switching out Rudolph and Dobbs? Also, do you think we could see something similar with Dobbs in the playoffs? All right, I guess I'll go first.
You go first. Yeah.
I liked it, man. I thought this was a great job by Randy Fichtner. We've criticized him, right? Sometimes we said that we felt like he gets criticized too much, especially, with some of the things we talk about with Ben having the autonomy to just check in and out of plays, right? We said, man, a lot of the stuff, man, you put it on Randy Fichtner, it's not necessarily him. But yesterday, you got to see him in the stadium without 7, because that was the other narrative, right? A year ago, Mason plays well. We say, whoa, man, it was probably Ben. He got the headset in. Randy just over there unplugged. We're like, all right, cool. If you want to spin it that way, sure. But this time around, he wasn't even in Cleveland. You know what I mean?
Ben cut off Randy's headset.
You know what I mean? So, no, seriously, I can assure you, I legit had to answer questions about this. I will never forget. And I'm just like, are you kidding me right now?
I don't think we talked about it.
No, we did. Because I was like, yo, it's out of here. And they're like, bro, it's unplugged. And it was Mason. It was Ben telling Mason these plays. That's why Mason looked good. I'm like, yo, y'all gotta stop this, bruh. Like, I'm not even saying that Randy's great. I'm not even saying that he's good. All I'm be saying is y'all gotta stop with some of this reaching y'all be doing, man. Lord have mercy. We talked about this, right? Offense looks good. Man, that's because of 7 right there. Offense look bad. Man, what's Randy Fichtner doing? And you're like, bruh, the dude, like, he could call it, but Ben he got the green light. It's no different than Brady or Breeze. Like, when they do good, it's them. If they do bad, it's their decision making. It's not on the coordinators, but to each his own, man. But either way,
Ben said some type of comment last week about Fichtner in the second half.
He did. He spoke highly of him. Yes,
did, yeah,
absolutely. And I'm like, dude, nobody wants to give him love. So I'm like, all right, cool. But yesterday, man, the formula that he created of having Mason throwing the ball the way he was doing, but then utilizing Dobbs in a manner where he could come in and create spark with his legs. The running game looked effective when he was on the field. He had a 13-yard run. It looked good. The offense moved well. I love the balance of both of those guys. And shout out to both of them as well for being super unselfish. For Mason, think about this, right? He completed a 47-yard pass and came off the field.
Yeah.
Like, it was happening multiple times. But you could just see how effective it was working and why they were doing it the way they were doing it. But for both of those guys, Dobbs and Mason, they knew how big of an opportunity this was. So the fact that they could both say, you know what? I'm going to eat, but I'm going to make sure that we both eating together in this thing. We're going, all right, this is the plan from Randy. We're going to both do this to the best of our ability. I felt like it helped both of them out going forward. And then for Randy, I thought it helped him out because, number one, there was no more excuses of, all right, the offense looked good because of the quarterback, or it looked bad because of the coordinator. It was like, no. Y'all don't believe in Mason. You don't believe in Dobbs. You don't believe in Fichtner. So whatever was going on was a combination of those guys making it happen. And we weren't seeing a lot of pre-snap checks by Mason Rudolph. No. It was more so what he calls That's what y'all are running. And they did that. And I thought they executed it really well, especially in the second half when all the chips were on the table and at a time when it was about to get out of hand. That pick he threw, it started to teeter of, okay, I think it was 20, it got to 24-9 at that point. We're like, man, might get gory right here. All right, might be time to go ahead and turn this thing off. And then you see him respond the way he responds. You see Dobbs respond the way he responded. And then not only that, Randy Fichtner, I liked how he started out initially after the interception. He got conservative, right? He said, I'm going to run the ball right here. Run the ball. Just keep running the ball. 2 series running the ball. Then after that, what? Now we're taking shots. And then from there, the offense exploded again. I just thought as a whole, all 3 of those guys played well. And I thought that the plan of them rotating in and out the way they did was good. It took a lot of guts because that isn't something that I'm sure you just pop up like, hey, I'm going to rotate y'all, but only, when you need to run the ball. It could come after a big play, though. Don't worry about that. And both of y'all got to be on part with that. That takes a lot to even present that to those guys and even present it to Coach Tomlin. But shout out to him because he believed it, they believed in it, and they executed it. And that's why I thought it was very impressive and why I was a fan of it. Now, in terms of the playoffs, it's not happening. Let's be real. Ben's not coming off the field. Number one, he doesn't have a desire to. But number two, how do you justify taking him off the field for Dobbs to run the ball? People will say Taysom Hill. People have to remember Taysom Hill's package early on was 1 or 2 plays on offense. We're looking at a thing that's been 4 or 5 years in the making, what you're seeing with Taysom now, where he has an extensive 10 to 15 play package.
Well, and they don't even have him at quarterback,
right?
Too,
but that wasn't the case initially. Early on, he was a special teams only guy. And then it started to be, okay, you get 1 trick play. All right, now you get 2 trick plays, and then it's grown. You're not going to get that from Dobbs or Randy Fichtner in this offense being buying into it, or even been buying into it the way Drew Brees has bought into it. You're not getting that in 6 days, or 7 days. That's not about to happen
with a playoff game.
Right. So for me, I do think that's something they should explore going forward in terms of next year when you get a full offseason to formulate something. But right now, I just don't see that happening on the fly come playoff time.
Yeah, I've talked about that before, having the 2 quarterback thing where you have a guy come in for certain plays. And I've never really been the biggest fan of it. And it's usually whenever you have a guy like Breeze or a guy like Rodgers, Ben, like I don't want those guys off the field. But in this case, man, I thought the game was just fun, and I think this was like an added element to it. Absolutely, it was like, man. You saw Rudolph out there, then you saw Dobbs for a little bit, especially in the first half, had that big run. And it was working. So it's one of those things, I'll be real. It's like if it's not working, you're like, what the hell are you doing? When it is working, you're like, wow, this is kind of cool. This is interesting. This is something new. This is fresh. What was the exact question about it? Like, what did you think about it?
Or not only what do we think about, them switching out Rudolph and Dobbs, but also do we think we'll see something similar come playoff time?
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think playoff time, in terms of the game, yeah, I did like it. I mean, it was definitely like a nice little mix-up. Maybe there was 1 or 2 times after the nice throw from Mason, I'm like, man, maybe you should keep him in with the momentum and stuff. But there were a couple times in the second half when Dobbs was in, and it's either, I think he did a shuffle pass, or we did run the ball with him being in. It wasn't necessarily him running it, but we still got like 4 or 5 yards or something like that. So it did work. It did. Like, I don't know what else you can say.
I just, like I said, for me, I just love the creativity. That was the big knock, right? I mean, even though we've already shown multiple times where creativity wasn't the issue, where we've seen people open, and whether it was protection, whether it was, a drop pass or accuracy, it was still plays designed well, called at the right time. So that's why for me, like, I always had a hard time with that. But like you said, man, with this scenario here, come playoff time, it won't happen. The only way I could see something like that happening is if Ben were to get hurt. But the only thing that I still don't think it would work is because of this. They had Mason and Dobbs activated because Ben wasn't out there. If Ben's there, they're not carrying 3 quarterbacks in the game. So you're not going to be able to even do that in an emergency situation if Ben were to get hurt or something like that. So that's my only issue with that. It's just, it's not happening, because if you dress 3 quarterbacks, I mean, you're going to lose either a lineman or a linebacker, or see, like, you're going to lose somebody else.
You're not game planning for that either.
Not at all.
You're not game planning for Ben getting hurt, and then you having maybe 2 quarters of a Mason and Dobbs combo.
You're not going to do that, man. That's not good game planning, period. And knowing Coach Tomlin, he's not going to go that approach. He's not going to do that. Unless he already knew going into the game that Ben was on like a threat. You know what I mean? Like, that's different. But that's not the case. Ben is coming off a week of rest, so should be a totally different perspective this week. But that was a good question. Shout out to you, Heather. All right. So this next one is from Kevin Castle. He says, all right, it seems there were times that the Browns gashed us in the run game. I know we're missing pieces on defense, but what adjustments do you see us making to combat Cleveland's offense come next week in the playoffs? Then he also said, what were our thoughts on Dobbs' performance and when he was in there taking some of the snaps, some of the zone read stuff that we were talking about. Also, he said that I thought when they brought him in to do some of the gadget plays, it reminded him of Taysom Hill. Yeah, number 7 from New Orleans. He didn't know his name, but it reminded him of Taysom Hill. And maybe the Steelers could adapt Josh as a utility type player, put him in the slot as receiver, kind of like an Antoine Randall, Cordell Stewart type action. So he wanted to get our thoughts on Dobbs being used like that.
In the next 4 or 5 years,
Absolutely.
3-4 years.
Yeah,
or something
and then
in the
along with the Cleveland Browns running game yesterday and the success they were able to have.
My answer's simple.
Here we go.
Get TJ and Hayward back. That's it. I mean, because we stopped that run pretty good the first time we played.
Yeah.
They didn't do anything.
Well, to me, the
game flow was different.
Right,
though. We got up 14-0 real quick.
Because I was like, that first game was drastically different. They didn't really try to run the ball. And then by halftime, we obviously knew they pulled Baker, so it was a different vibe. But in terms of the running game, obviously TJ and Cam coming back is going to help. Vince will be back out there. That'll help as well. But the big thing to me, you got to wrap up. I'm not going to point fingers, but we could point to a couple of instances where it was, nice contact, a nice hit, but no wrap up, and guys kept running, whether it was on long runs or short runs to get into touchdowns. But either way, you got to wrap up when you play defense, especially against a running back like Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. They don't go down on big hits. At the NFL level, hitters are cool, but it's a difference between being a hitter and a tackler. In running backs, elite receivers, they have great contact balance, meaning you can hit them as hard as you want. They're not going to go down. They might run backwards a little bit. They might give a little ground, but they're not going to go down. They keep their legs moving and they will keep running and keep scoring. That's what we saw yesterday. You have to wrap guys up. Even if you don't bring them down when you wrap them up, what do? You slow them down enough for somebody else to get in there and finish them off with you. But just hitting a guy, which we keep seeing now, as it pertains to some of these run game scenarios, that's not going to get the job done. So to me, I think that's more of the bigger issue than necessarily the pieces that we're missing, because from what I watched, and obviously when the All-22 comes out, we'll be able to see a lot more in terms of some of the gap integrity, because there were some missed assignments in that front seven. Obviously you expect that with, so many moving pieces. But as a whole, man, to me, it wasn't a ton of just gaping holes. It was more so, all right, this is your play to make. You got to make that tackle. And guys are just hitting and not wrapping up. You cannot do that, man. So that to me was the biggest thing. And then the second part of that, when he was talking about using Dobbs in more of like a slash type role, like I said, if it's a full offseason where you get to formulate that package and you also get to see if he can continue to be productive doing so, sure. I mean, we already know he can run the zone read. We saw that yesterday. I do feel like he can pass a lot better than Taysom Hill. We just didn't use him really throwing the ball at all yesterday. But I think he's a better passer than Taysom. So you got that element of it as well, right? I don't know what his hands are like, though. In terms,
I was going to ask.
Yeah, I've never
seen him playing tight end or receiver?
Definitely not tight. He's way too small for a tight end. But in terms of some of the receiver stuff, yeah, I mean the same way they use Taysom Hill, outside of like the pure just running back or lead block stuff that he does, you can do similar things with Dobbs. Like I said, my biggest thing is I don't know how good he can catch. So in terms of splitting them out,
you think he could do the route running though and everything, all that type of stuff?
He's a great athlete. Like
okay.
I don't like people don't understand like how good an athlete Dobbs is. Dobbs can run. He's very shifty. Like he knows what he's doing. I mean, it was on his tape even at Tennessee. Like he can move, but it's a difference between being able to move and being a receiver. You know what I mean? It's a difference between being fast and being a running back. Like it's a lot that goes into it from a technique standpoint and just understanding the position. So that's why to me, and he's a brilliant mind. His track record speaks for itself. He's my rocket scientist friend. I always tell people like I know a rocket scientist. I know one. That's him. All right. So trust me, he's more than smart enough to do it. I can assure you of that. But I just don't know. Like I said, from a catching standpoint, can he catch? I've never seen him have to like catch passes. Like you catching a snap is different. Like out of the shotgun versus like if Ben were to throw him a ball 20 yards downfield. Like I've just never seen it. I haven't. And we know a guy like Deontay who is his profession. It's not always that easy. And this is a guy who's close to 100 catches. It's still not that easy. Like, so that's why for me, I'm just like, I would need to see more of that before I would say, yeah, you could use him that full gamut that way. Just don't know yet.
It would be dope. Was Cordell's number, it was 10. Is it always 10? It would be dope seeing number 5 out at receiver and stuff. Yeah, that'd be cool.
I think it would be hard. I just don't know if he can catch. I don't know. Can he catch? If anyone has seen footage of Dobbs catching, let me know. I've just never seen it. Like I've seen him play catch. Like when this warm up, we throwing. No, I haven't because they don't even catch the ball. They have a receiver that catches the ball on the throwback, and the receiver hands it to the quarterback because they don't want to risk the quarterback jamming a finger, obviously catching the ball. So yeah, I don't know. I've never seen him catch the ball before. So yeah, if anyone has seen it, let me know. If he can catch, then yes, I would love that because I think he could open up a lot as we saw yesterday. And especially whenever it may happen when that transition from Ben does start, you want to find different ways to minimize some of these younger quarterbacks that you're going to have. And that's kind of what they did with Mason yesterday. They minimized a little bit of his exposure by using Dobbs with some of those run plays like that to just give teams a different look, give the defense something that they can't just fire off on, you know?
And I got to assume Dobbs is going to be back on the roster next year, right?
I feel like he will. Yeah. I mean, he's going to be super cost efficient. I mean, regardless of, because I want to say this is the only issue now because he was released. I don't know how his contract still plays out because initially it was a 4-year deal, but then obviously with them trading him and then him getting released by Jacksonville, I don't know if they just picked up the deal as if it was regular or if they did a new
it's a 1-year deal.
1 year. You see what I mean? Either way it was going to be the final because this is his 4th year. So either way it was going to be the final year of his deal, but I just don't know like the numbers and everything associated with that in terms of
if it's going to have to be a 5th-year option.
Right. It wouldn't be that because he wasn't a first rounder, but in terms of tendering him and things like that, like was he restricted, unrestricted? I haven't looked into all that. Oh, that's interesting.
So the 5th-year option is only first round.
Yeah, only first round.
So Juju, we don't have that for
Correct.
Juju.
Yeah, only first rounders. That's why you got to go franchise tag for the other guys, you know?
He's unrestricted then, Juju.
Yeah, Juju be unrestricted. Yeah, absolutely. That's why we keep saying with Juju, if he stays his hometown discount, he could get more in the open market. But if you're the Steelers, you can't overpay him when you still have other guys you got to really compensate for. So that's the whole thing with that, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But with Dobbs, the reason I don't know if it's restricted or unrestricted, because typically if he played his rookie deal as, you know, the 4 years clean, then he would be unrestricted because that was what I was. You know, you play as a later round pick, play your 4 years, never cut, never practice squad, you're good to go. Unrestricted, hit the free market. If you get released and they bring you back, though, sometimes your contract will shift. In that final year, you'll be a restricted free agent, meaning you don't have the luxury of just going out there and signing with whoever. And the reason it's important is this: when teams decide if a person is restricted, they can tender you and saying, okay, original round tender. So for him, he's a 4th round pick, meaning if another team wanted to sign Dobbs, not only do they got to sign to a contract, they would have to give up a 4th round pick for that as well to us. So if you go 4th round or original round tender, 2nd round tender, or 1st round tender, those are the 3 levels of a tender. They all vary in millions. Obviously, 1st round is going to be as if he was a 1st round draft pick. That pays a lot higher. If he was a 2nd round tender, it's going to be in the $2 to $3 million range. And then original round, 4th round, it'll probably be around $1 to $2 million. So you could just see the different tiers of that. But for each tier, if a team wanted to sign you, you got to give up a draft pick and give him that money. So that's the biggest reason why it's a big deal if he's restricted versus unrestricted in terms of them retaining him. But I don't think it's going to be an issue either way, just because he doesn't have an extensive amount of film, whereas Juju has a ton of film. So even if he was restricted, it was going to be one of those Victor Cruz type scenarios where you're going to still have to pay this guy a ton of money to keep him because other teams are going to want him.
Seems like he wants to stay. You're seeing some stories being floated out there and everything. That's what I'm thinking with Dobbs, though. I mean, if he's just going to be on the roster anyway, this isn't a bad idea at all.
It's not.
It's really not.
I feel like that utilizes his gifts.
Because I'm against having Ben come off the field. But, you know, I'll be open to things, especially, you know what, if we have Dobbs and we do this type of thing, it's better than any of these damn reverses we've been doing. I'll put it that way.
And shout out to Randy Fichtner, too. He listened to our show. Because he did not run not one jet sweep. And he didn't even think about using Claypool to jet sweep. Because if he did, I was going to run all the way to Cleveland. I was in Pittsburgh. I was going to run all the way to Cleveland and give him the old-fashioned stone cold stun. I'm telling you now. Just give him that one. Glass breaking and everything. Just telling you.
Yeah, I'd be open to, I guess, some of that stuff. We'll see.
All right. I like that's growth from you, though.
It's getting there, dude. It's getting there. Like I said.
New year, new Deke?
I don't know. I don't know about that, dude.
New year, new Deke. There you go.
I will tell you this, though. I don't know if the one time it doesn't work, though, next year, you know, I'm probably going off. I want to be positive. Like I said, it was a fun game. It was a fun vibe. We have Dobbs come back. We talked about like Randall L, Cordell. Like, that'd be cool. I'm not gonna lie. Like, would. If he's gonna be on the roster anyway, this would be an added element because we don't have that right now.
Yeah,
we just don't have that. That would be pretty cool.
All right. Go to these next couple others.
All right.
All right, now this one is worded kind of weird, but I like it. He's from overseas. So shout out to Artemio Marifaske. I think I said that right. So he's from the Philippines. Shout out to the Philippines. We enjoyed Mason's performance and that expected loss against the Browns. Obviously, we're having, not the full gamut of players out there. He also says, Kid, I particularly whispered to Missy Matthews and Bob Labriola to inform Coach Tomlin to prepare Mason. Just in case something were to go wrong with Ben in the game, so that way Mason could perform at a high level. I just wanted to know, if Ben were to play, not up to par, would you be open to that type of, because it's the same opponent. It's not like it's a different opponent. And that's kind of why I like this question. I'm like, and remember I said I got some questions where it's like, it's more statement based, but you can see how, and this is one of them. Shout out to Artemio from the Philippines. But yeah, man.
So actually, one thing about this question, wouldn't you have a better plug-in to Tomlin than commenting to Missy Matthews or Bob Labriola?
Well, this is the thing. Apparently, and I'm not allowed to officially speak on these things, but Labs is supposed to be like the voice.
Whoa.
So if Coach T wants something delivered to the media, Labs
so he has more direct contact than you right now.
Yes. And for me, I'm like the bubble guy because I work with them. Obviously, I was just on with them before we started this show, but yeah, Labs is like the direct, and then Missy, she's second in charge, borderline first, because she has to go up there and do a lot more of the live reaction stuff, and then obviously me because I'm a part of the family and they use me.
I just thought you'd have more pull.
Well, this is the difference though. Like, he's there, I'm here. Okay. It's COVID. I can't just pull up on him. He's there. You know what I mean? Like certain people are down there.
I think if you pulled up though, that would almost go to say like, man, I really got something to tell you here.
I would just call him personally.
Okay.
Yeah. But shout out to Artemio. But are you open to that though? It's been with a struggle, and we like the Colts game, for example, right, where we saw how the first half was going. Knowing what we know, especially with Mason having gone against this exact same defense. Now they're going to be down Olivier Vernon, who ruptured his Achilles in the game. But this is the same defense that he just carved up for 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. Balled out. Let her come back. Like, he looked good. So if Ben were to come out and be, how we've seen at times.
You saw how I acted in the Corona Madden League, dude.
You cost us the championship. You cost us the championship.
Madden screwed us.
No, you didn't.
They had Ben throwing too many picks. It was absurd.
He was about to give me 30 for 30, man. I was sick.
It wasn't that bad, but we made the playoffs.
How many did he have?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't remember. The season's over. We're almost out of Corona, so that's just that was a moment in time.
Oh man, would you be open to it though?
No. Because it's just from the standpoint that I feel like we have the better shot with Ben being in there, no matter how bad he's playing in the first half or whatever it is. That's my standpoint. Now you want to say I'm blind or whatever, that's it. I'll tell you this though, I'd be way more pissed if you have Mason come in and he doesn't play well and that's how we lose.
True.
I'd be way more. I'd rather go down with 7. I just would.
Well, and I was gonna say I agree with you on that. Great as Mason played, and knowing it was against a highly motivated Browns team with a lot to play for, and they celebrated, and rightfully so, right? I can't not if this is next year, totally different, right? If it's 2 years from now, totally different. But this year, and knowing full body work, what we've seen from Ben and his most recent performance, that second half against the Colts, I'm personally not comfortable with it either. I would rather go down with the person I brought here, right? If me and you were doing this thing, hey, we might not win, but hey, I'm leaving here with you. I'm not worried about that person or that person. And I feel like this is a similar situation. If Mason was the better quarterback, Mason would be the starting quarterback come playoff time. He's not. Even though he had a great game, he's not the better quarterback today. And that's, I think, is the biggest difference, right? And I understand, it'll be easy. And trust me, if Ben starts slow, that is going to be a conversation that comes up. But you can't. I just don't feel like you can make that move. Number one,
we started slow this game, though. I mean,
see, you said that. I don't think we did.
Really?
I don't. The reason why is this: we started no different than how we would start under Ben. The difference was we didn't have Ben, so I didn't look at it as starting slow. I look at it as, man, you're handling it with kid gloves because you got a young quarterback on the road in a hostile environment. You want to minimize, what could go on, especially knowing this Browns team was going to come out fired up, which they did, and we forget. You say that they weren't moving the ball. They were moving the ball. They were just settling for field goals. Think about that. We settled for field goals.
We only had 6 points going into halftime.
That's 2 drives where we were scoring position. Think about that.
I get that, but I don't know our offense has had slow starts though up to this point, in terms of those type of points, those single digits.
But the reason why I say it was, I was more impressed with Mason doing it is because with 7 out there, what do you expect from 7?
No, right. You could say you're surprised or not, but my point is this is kind of how the offense has been this year. So if it is a slow start, it's like, all right, man, we're going to turn this around.
All right.
And we did it with Mason. That's my thing.
Well, that's why people are going to ask, though.
I agree with you. If you want to say if you're more impressed or surprised or not between Ben or Mason with the Steelers' slow starts, that's fine. But
okay, I'm with you on that.
What it is. We've even with Mason, we only had 6 points.
Yeah. But all I'm saying is this. The narrative of the slow start, I don't think that was truly the case because they were still moving the ball. They were still getting in scoring range. We've been in the first half where, man, we might have 3 points total. I don't know. It's a little bit different. That's the thing. That Colts first half, you cannot tell me that Colts first half was better than Mason's first half against the Browns because it wasn't. No.
Well, here's the thing. I'm thinking more of those, past 2 or 3 games. Yeah. With the slow start where it's like, damn, this is not good. Well, the Bills game, we even moved the ball in the first half, though. Yeah. So I would say probably
the biggest part with the Bills, the turnover before half.
The Bengals and the Colts game where, there was no semblance of anything in the first half. But all the other games, even though we had low scores, I felt like the ball. Yes. Yeah, that's what I mean. So I'm not taking those 2 games and saying, gotcha, man, that's what our offense has been this whole year. It has been slow starts, but I have thought we've been able to move the ball. And that's what I'm thinking. Worst case scenario is what's going to happen with this Browns game. I think we're still going to be able to move the ball. Are we going to be putting up gaudy points? Hopefully, but what it's been this whole season, I don't know if we're really expecting that, right?
Yeah, but I'm with you though. Either way, at the root of it, I can't live with it. There's man. No way. I would much rather Ben stinks. I'd rather Ben throws 5 picks and we go down just tragically the worst performance ever than you make that switch and Mason. I mean, and let's be real, that performance from Mason was a top tier performance.
It was great, yeah.
If he plays like that for the rest of his career, he'll be a Hall of Famer.
It's one game, though. But
it's one game, right? So for me, I don't know if that's outlier or the norm. We've seen that game and we saw the Jets game, obviously, where it's another similar scenario for him, but that's not a big sample size. It's not. So to me, I'm not comfortable making that switch off of a game and a half or a game and 2 series of positive play by Mason to take Ben out of a game.
Yeah, now you got an extra game of tape with him too.
That's my thing, man. So yeah, I you can't switch him out. You can't switch him out.
I agree.
I would love to, but you can't switch him out.
Nice. We agree. We agree.
No, definitely agree. Yeah. Like I said, if this off season, a different conversation, but definitely not going into the playoffs. Nah. And Ben has owned the Browns. Right, wrong, or indifferent. He's owned them. Just not even Baker, just the Browns. Throughout his career, he's dominated that matchup. I want to send the boogeyman out there. Now, they might knock the boogeyman out. Cool. But I need to see them knock the boogeyman out. I'm not going to take the boogeyman out before they overcome that whole situation. That's my mindset, man.
I'm feeling something. This playoffs, dude. I really am.
I hope so. You're always feeling something, man. I'm starting to get worried about your feelings. Jeez. All right. Now, this next one is from Brandon Cone. He says, did we want the Browns in the first round?
Yeah.
Yes.
Dude,
yes.
It was the perfect situation. Yes. As much as you wanted to say bro, let's win this game. That would have been epic. It would have been epic for Mason to go in there and take the Browns out with all of our backups and everything. That would have been epic. But let's be real. We're playing the Browns the first round. That's way better than playing the Ravens. Way better.
Or the Titans.
Or the Titans, man. Yeah. Jeez, man, Derrick Henry. Yeah, 2,000 yards this year.
All right. Yeah. So for me, I was like, yes, this is absolutely the one. When the Dolphins, and shout out to the Bills, Lord have mercy. We thought the Dolphins would have a similar scenario like the Browns were yesterday, where they got to win to get in and stuff like that.
Did they play all their guys? Because I saw Allen in there Josh played for most part.
He played for the first half, and after he came out, Matt Barkley came in and he still threw for a couple of times. It was crazy, bro. I'm looking at Matt Barkley. I'm like, bro, when did you start doing this? He had a bomb to Gabriel. I'm like, Lord have mercy.
Dude, he had the number 1 pick locked up. If he just would have left his junior year, went back, and then it was like a 4th or 5th rounder.
Can't we say the same thing about Cardale Jones though? If he would have left after they won Natty, he would have made a lot more money. He waited, and that killed his stock.
Dude, he would have been like a top 10 pick
easily.
Then they did 3 quarterbacks that year.
Yes.
Who was the 4th?
It was JT Barrett, him, and
there was one more.
Oh my, it wasn't Haskins. Who am I forgetting? No, it was Haskins. I thought it was Haskins. No. Haskins came after all of them. Dang, going. Because it was definitely 3 of them. Oh my.
I don't know either.
Oh, no. He plays Braxton Miller.
Yes.
That's who it was.
Yep.
Yeah, because Braxton was the starter. Then it went to JT, and then it went to Cordell.
They all balled out. But it was just weird timings with injuries and who had to sit out and stuff.
Absolutely, man. But without a doubt, this is definitely the matchup we wanted, though.
100%.
Yes.
I mean, you couldn't ask for anything better. It was a fun game. Yeah. Like Mason, there's probably a question about it, but I think Mason proved that, man, he could be at least the guy for the next 2 or 3 years in the backup position.
He definitely looked good.
You know, got that roster spot. Looked good. Fun game. Dobbs got some snaps. I think the defense, as much as in the first half, you know, Chubb had that big run. They played hard, though.
They did.
Like,
shout out to the young guys, too, man. Highsmith, Elliott. Pups was out there. They were putting in work, man.
We were playing with house money, and I just thought it was a fun game, and now we got a good first-round matchup.
Absolutely, because I said, when I looked at the matchup, I said, we got a great matchup. Bills, they got a good matchup. I said Titans and Ravens. I'm glad they get to go beat each other. They're kind of like the brawler of the bunch, and they just want to make it nasty. Y'all go knock each other out over there. Let us handle what we do over here. We'll come see y'all, whoever survives that.
Dude, these AFC matchups this first round are crazy.
Oh, man. Dude, AFC definitely got the better matchups. Between the divisions, the NFC ones are weak, bro. I don't want to see Saints, Bears. I don't.
Bucks,
Washington. I don't want to see that either. I don't.
It would have been more interesting with the Giants, because at least you have the Giants versus Brady.
Right.
They played them tough earlier in the year.
The whole scenario. But now we're going to hear Alex Smith, man. He survived 1,000 surgeries on his leg. He got shot, and a bear tried to bite him.
They've been milking it the whole year.
Yeah, dude. We're not going to hear enough of that song.
I think he's tired of talking about it.
Listen, between and I promise you, I feel like they add surgeries every time. I was like, bro, I don't remember it being this many when y'all talked about it and y'all showed the green pus. And then you showed me the green pus again and you said it was another surgery. Then you said this. I'm like, dude, all right, we got it. All right, I got it. God, dog, please. But we're going to hear that, and we're going to hear Brady, and we're going to hear AB. Those are the areas we're going to hear going into this game. I was like, God, dog, come on, man. Come on.
But the other one's decent though. It's Seahawks. Actually, that's not even that good. It's not because if Goff doesn't play.
Yeah, but shout out to the young boy, man.
Best answer to that press conference. I didn't see the whole press conference, but the one that they showed on Sports Center. Dude, he looks like, I don't even know, dude. He looks like he smokes weed. He's a conspiracy theorist. Like, and whenever he was asked it, he was just like dead on, like. I've never experienced the win. Find out, didn't blink or anything. It was a great answer. I'm like, I like this guy.
So yeah, man, I'm not really thrilled about the Saturday matchups. Sunday, I'm hype. I feel like
you got the Bills on Saturday though.
Oh, excuse me, yeah.
But you don't think it's
no. In my mind, I was saying Saturday as if Saturday was NFC, Sunday was AFC. Think about the primetime games, but you're right. As a whole, the AFC matchups, I'm excited for. Absolutely, Saturday 1:00. I wish and this was selfish of me. I said selfishly, I would have loved us to get the first one Saturday 1:00, knock it out. So then after that, we resting. The more rest you get, we healthy going into next week. Because I've been on the side of it where you play Sunday night on the.
And they're gonna give us Saturday or some shit,
right? And we've done that. We're like, dang, we're down a day. So that was my initial thought. Like, I would have loved Saturday 1:00, but we got the Sunday 8:00. And they will definitely hit you with all right, y'all got the Saturday, y'all got the first game. You're like, whoa, what? No, we don't want that. So that was selfish of me. But as a whole, when you think about the narrative of the storyline, you can't beat Steelers and Browns and everything that's surrounding this matchup this weekend. This is going to be massive for either party. Whoever wins is going to be major. Whoever loses is going to be major. If you're in the media business, we're going to have plenty to talk about next week. So I'm excited.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so this next one is from Jacob. Ooh, Jacob Malacio. Shout out to Jacob. And his question is specifically for Deke.
No way.
He says, my question is for Deke. ... Mr. Deke.
Nice.
How do you feel about handing Mason the driver's wheel after this game? We all know how much you love 7... ... I'll just turn the floor over to you.
Like we said, dude, it was one game. And I even tweeted it out there. I even texted you. I'm like, bro, this was a great game. You got to give him props. You really got to give him props, man. I'm not going to be one of those guys hater
I'm so proud
old
of you.
guy, get off my line. I'm not going to do
so
that.
Proud of you.
I was proud of Mason. Like, I think it was cool just because of everything we went through last year.
Yes.
With him, and then the incident, him getting hurt in the Jets game when you thought things were going to bounce back. Like, he was like, dude, he went through a lot of shit last year.
And even the offseason, think about it, because even the offseason, it got brought back up.
Even getting hurt in the Ravens game, like, he went through just playing bad, ups and downs, thinking he's really limited the Steelers. He sucks. He's not going to be in the NFL. Like, there was so much stuff.
Absolutely, man.
With him, like, I was happy for him. I was legitimately happy for him.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of him with Ben makes the call. That's my thing. Yeah. Whenever Ben's good to retire, if he's still on the roster, if he's like still in I guess prime years, prime portion of his career where we think he could be a successor, sure. But I've said it many times over these past couple podcasts. I'm good with Ben for 2-3 more years till whenever he wants to hang it up. Now, that's probably not good for Mason's timeline for his career, but if he wants to sit it out, sure, go for it.
All right.
Like, I'm not opposed to specifically Mason.
The only thing I laugh at is when anytime you say like 2-3 years, I'm like, bro, you know how many people are going crazy every time you say 2-3 years?
I hear it all the time. I
start laughing. I'm like,
you know what though? My brother said it. We were watching the game together.
Yeah.
Just family. It was nice. It was a nice family time. We had fire going, ordered some pizza, and my brother said I might be with Deke here with Ben for 2 or 3 more years because my dad was talking about quarterback situation. I was actually shocked. My brother, he said he agreed with me there. So I'm like, all right, I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one.
Shout out to the eggnog. No, I'm playing. All right. Well, I guess this next one kind of does piggyback. This from Jonathan.
Well, you don't have anything with that?
That was to you.
Dude, but you can answer. I'm interested to hear what you got to say.
The reason I was going to let you answer it is because the next one is like the exact same, but it's more general. So now I can feel like, okay, all right, I can get this question.
Okay, so that was a one-on-one, me and that guy.
Yeah, because we talk about this every week. I say I want to try to get as many questions as we can get, but sometimes like it's just hard to fit it all in this window without giving you a 4-hour podcast, so I'm always like, all right, I can fit that in, and that's going to hit your part of the question, but then I want a rebuttal, but this next part is perfect for that, so that's the whole reason.
Well, and here's the thing too with Mason, if we go off this 2 to 3 year timeline, like based off that game, like I said, I think he's earned a roster spot, he's earned the backup position, and at least a chance if, whenever Ben does decide to hang it up. Like I said, I don't know if that really fits in with Mason's timeline of what he wants to do, but I think he at least has deserved a shot. Now, do we draft a guy? Maybe they're in some type of competition.
Right.
We give
because just a week ago we were talking about that.
No, right? We give Mason the wheel to start whatever season it is. It's 2025.
Jesus,
I
do me like that.
I was
I like that. Not 2025. Listen, Ben is my guy. Then I don't, and I always laugh anytime we read the comments. I'm like, people don't even understand. Like, oh man, why you always hating? I'm like, oh, you don't have a clue. It's just no hate, zero hate. Trust me, I owe a ton to my man 7. He knows that. I'm telling this all the time. Like, it's never. But 2025, I'm
just messing.
I'm with you, but that just hurt me. I was, oh Lord, not 2025. God,
I was trying to think of a number. I'm like, wait, what's in that range? I need to be safe here. I need to be safe here with whatever number I throw out here because it's 2021 now. So
I'm like, is that 2025 as if like the 2024 season and it ended in 25? Or was like the start of 25? I'm like, Lord, that's a long time, Deke, a long time.
Like I said, based off this performance, it goes back to what Batch said even too.
No, true, absolutely, man.
Like, dude, if you go out and perform on this game where your job is on the line, okay, you showed something.
This is how you do it.
You showed something here. So I think he at least deserves a shot down the line, whenever that is, to start off a season. Do we draft a guy, like I said, where maybe Mason gets half the year, see how he performs, then we maybe bring the other guy in if Mason doesn't perform well, but if Mason keeps performing well, then he'll be the guy for that season. So that's it.
Dang, the energy is so different with Mason's audition. Mason only gets a half a season?
Huh?
Jeez.
Well, dude, there's gonna be a big break there in between this game and another game.
Just saying, a half a season. Jeez.
Well, if he's playing good, you don't got to worry about it, right?
I'm just saying.
You agree?
Some people, they can play bad and they can get the whole year. I'm just saying, he don't get the whole year. Not 14 weeks.
It depends on if we draft. Like I said, it depends on who else we have in the quarterback room.
Just never know.
Like, if you're the Eagles, you have Jalen Hurts as your backup, then yeah, maybe you go to Jalen Hurts. But
you just signed Wentz to a mega deal though, or you go Sudfeld actually. You just go Sudfeld.
I can't believe. I needed to throw Jalen Hurts there because what they did yesterday was inexcusable.
No, they're playing to win. You go Sudfeld. Everybody.
No, it was just completely inexcusable. No, you stick with Jalen Hurts. I cannot. I think he actually lost the locker room, dude.
No way. He improved it. You know why? Because they moved up in the draft.
Yeah, I get that.
No. So this is my question, right? We got you. People will get on the Jets. Oh, y'all don't know how to tank. Y'all winning games you're not supposed to win. We'll get on the Jaguars. Oh man, why would y'all beat that team? Then they go out here in Philly. They say, okay, we're gonna get the first half decent, and now we're gonna go ahead and put this backup in on prime time. Now everybody want to lose their mind. Why is that? Oh yeah, people talk about tanking. Tank for Trevor. Last year was tank for Tua. Now because they tank in a way that makes you uncomfortable. Not you, but like the Giants play. Oh man, y'all gotta play, man. We want to get it now. Now it's a big deal. No. We got on the Jets multiple times for tanking incorrectly. Not us in particular, but a lot of people did. So yeah, same thing with Philly, man. They did it the right way. Don't hate the play, hate the game, baby. Straight like that.
I just think they might have their guy in Hurts. I think you.
No, that's fine. Hurts is the guy. But what I'm saying is, you moving up, they're going to potentially have the 6th overall pick in this draft. Fifth now, yeah. You mean to tell me they can't find somebody to help Hurts out or help that defense out with a 5th overall pick? Yeah.
If they stick with Hurts, yeah.
They will. Okay. I'm saying they will. He's a 2nd round pick from a year ago, from this year. He definitely will. He's earned that right. He's good. But I'm saying, man, you moving up in the draft to get a top 5 pick, bro, that's going to be major in terms of your development. Or if you take the approach of, you know what, I'd rather do the New England route of trade out of there and get multiple picks so that way I can build it up with quality guys at other positions. So I think it was a good move. I don't know why people hate it.
All right, you might have swayed me.
Why y'all want to hate it, man? Any other time, we even talked about it. Well, we didn't talk about with the Steelers last year. We talked about the Bengals last year, right? And we was like, man, they're going down that path, and now they're starting to tank, and then they ended up getting the number 1 overall pick with Joe Burrow. If they would have been winning games, they would have been like, what y'all doing? You wasting opportunity. Same difference, baby. Just because it was on prime time now and playoff ramifications for other teams, it wasn't playoff ramifications for them. It had 0. Think about this. Them winning that game, could that help them in any way, shape, or form?
You can't lie. It's hilarious when you're 6-10 and complaining.
Right. I'm like, you're complaining about the play. I'm like, bro, win 7 games. Win 8 games. We didn't ask you to win 10. Win 8. We got a 10-win team that's not in the playoffs this year. The Dolphins got 10 wins. They're at home. And y'all complaining with 6 wins, talking about, play your guy. What are you doing? I don't want to hear that. That's nonsense.
You swayed me. I'm glad I guess you swayed me there.
I'm glad to hear that. So, shout out to Jonathan for your question. Now, the follow-up was this, and this is from Mark Dell 1. Okay. Do you guys think Mason played well enough to avoid having to draft a QB this season? And then he says, side note, loves the channel, makes it as part of his weekly routine to hear our reaction after the game. So keep it up. So yeah, in terms of me thinking, did he play well enough to not only secure a backup spot long term, but also to keep them from drafting this? If they take a quarterback in the first round and the second round, I don't care how good Mason played yesterday. That's the success of the guy they take early like that. Do I think Mason played well enough to deter them from doing that? I do think so, because I agree. Yeah. I feel like we already talked about this. Ben will more than I personally feel like he's going to be on the roster. He'll play under the 41. I don't think they will extend him. I think they allow him to play under the 41 million personally.
Oh, really? Wait, you just talked about a week ago.
I feel like they got. I want them to extend him because you can do more cap wise, right? You can make sure, hey, I got this piece there, that piece there. But I don't know if they're willing to commit. You talk about 2-3 years to make that thing work, and either way, it's only going to get bigger. This 41 is 41 now, but now if you extend it or restructure, right, that you always hear, it only kicks it down the line. So it's going to happen. It's more so, are you going to do it this year? Are you going to do it next year? Are you going to do it 3 years from now? So to me, the more I think about it, and after seeing Mason play like he did yesterday, I think they just roll with Ben, no extension. Now, if Ben comes out next year and he looks like how he did the first 11 games, I think
little Brady Breeze deal, 2 for 25. You can talk
about that, right? But right now, I don't know if they're going to do that unless now playoff start, he could look totally different. If he looks more like that second half versus the Colts or early in the season, without a doubt, they'll extend him and that'll be fine. But if he doesn't look like that, that's where we can start getting into some of that stuff. But either way, I think Mason played well enough to show that he should be the backup going forward, regardless if you extend Ben or not.
Ben gets hurt for 2-3 games, and now I actually feel confident. Like, okay, we could win maybe Absolutely. 2 out of these 3.
And he did what Charlie talked about and what you brought up in terms of, as the backup quarterback, you're not going to get a ton of reps. You don't get a ton of opportunities. We already cut down the preseason. In terms of, it was no preseason this past season. It's going to be cut down to 3 preseason games going forward, because now we're going to have the additional regular season games starting next year. So when exactly do you expect to get Mason reps to see what he can do? We're not going to pull Ben in a game. So it's like you have to go off of these small sample sizes. But I feel like he was impressive enough in that small sample size that it has secured him a spot going forward. Now, we don't know if that means he's the successor when Ben hangs it up.
Wait, is he on? He's on the same thing with Juju then, right? Same timeline.
Mm-hmm. So he's after Juju, I want to say.
Is he?
Yeah, he's a year after you, so he has 1 year left on his deal.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So that's the thing with him, but I feel like he's going to be fine because of what he did yesterday. I think that helps him out a ton.
Okay, yeah, that works then if he's just got one more deal or one more year on his
staggered. Deal. Dobbs was before him. That's why Dobbs is last year for Dobbs.
You're right.
Whereas with Mason, he has 1 year remaining.
Okay, got you. Yeah, he was with Washington.
Yes,
they were drafted together. Okay.
All righty. I like these questions. See, that's what I said, man. They kind of all float together. And I actually jumped the gun. I misread one of them too. The one that I was really trying to go to was from Jonathan Early, where he was asking about, he said Mason played really well, and did he think people would finally see him as a decent backup, because he thinks he is, and he would look to make an even decent starter. And that's why I was trying to go, but I jumped the gun a little bit on my question. But either way, they all kind of flow together.
Yeah, no,
right
100%.
there. But I do think that he has proven, like I said, in that small sample size, that he can be the backup for Ben at least next year. And in terms of him being a decent starter, it's one game, right? We saw about
Matt Flynn.
Yeah, because we saw about 10 games last year. It was probably a combination of 10 games. He obviously didn't play every game, and it was a mixed bag. Like some games he was decent, some games he was below average, right, or below the line. So to me, I need to just see more of him so I can know if this is more the normal, or was early last year more than normal. We don't know right now, and anybody that tries to assume they do is lying to themselves, because it's impossible to know without physically seeing him get these opportunities and getting the full gamut. Not a, all right, get a series here. Not a, all right, you can play a quarter here, or you're in garbage time here, or it's a preseason game here. It's just hard to evaluate him like that. With Matt Flynn, think about Matt Flynn. He had two two last game of the season type performances where he was able to ball out, and then from there he got paid nice to go to Seattle. But then
couldn't even win the job from there.
Right. But shout out to Russell Wilson, right? Yeah. But then from there, he ended up getting beat out. But a lot of people didn't know, was he good or not? Because it was just that one game. So that's the biggest thing with that, man. You just don't, I don't know if he'll be a decent starter just yet, because we haven't seen enough of him. To be a decent starter, it takes more than just winning one game. If that's the case, then Sam Darnold's a decent starter. Andy Dalton's a decent starter. We can just go down the list of all these decent starters who win, a couple of games here and there.
Yeah, have flashes.
Right. Yeah, they'll flash. But to be a decent starter, I feel like that's somebody that's consistent. Somebody that, man, when they come in, Ryan Fitzpatrick, decent starter to me, right? You can trust him, but he's decent because he can win you some, but he can also lose you some. The difference when you talk about the upper echelon and the really good and the great quarterbacks, they're going to win you a lot more games than they're going to cost you. That's the difference. And right now with Mason, we just do not know if he's capable of winning you a ton of games or losing you a ton. We don't know just yet because we haven't seen enough of him. That's my biggest thing with him.
Is there anything specifically about like his play or throws or anything like that? Because
I didn't see it. No, go ahead.
I did want to mention like
the deep ball accuracy.
Well, one of the big knocks on him last year was he's like floating balls. Like I don't even know. Like some of his throws were just really off whenever he was throwing the ball deep. This one, everything seemed on point. Like even the misses, like the one he overthrew to Claypool. It was first quarter, first half. The other one or two he missed. It was like a Claypool jump ball, and then there was another one in the corner of the end zone to Washington.
Well, I know one play the DB just made like a great play. The DB just stuck his hand out there and blocked the ball. Yeah, but other than that, the throws were on time. Like his accuracy looked good.
Arm strength looked good.
Absolutely.
Like even on the slant routes across the middle to like Juju, like he looked good. Like he looked really good. Like legitimately good. Like kind of what that Jets game was. I mentioned this earlier. Just to like another level.
But that was also, and remember when we brought up the Cowboys game and people tried to get on his arms?
I mean, I was one of them.
But that's the biggest reason why I'm like, it's night and day. And this is what I was alluding to. And you could see that. But I'm just happy. I'm happy because, like I said, you can acknowledge, Mason played well, right? A lot of people it's still people that don't want to acknowledge. I'm like, we're not saying that he's great. We're not saying that he's a successor. But to act like he didn't play a good game yesterday, let's be real. Over the past 4 weeks, you can make a case that was the best quarterback play we've seen in Pittsburgh. It's debatable. You can make that.
I'm going Colts game with Ben. But
okay, but look at the numbers and you tell me who was better.
Ben's was.
No
picks.
I don't care about the picks. Deep ball accuracy.
Picks.
How many deep balls did he hit on? One.
He had 3 touchdowns.
How many deep balls did he hit on?
I think it was like 330 yards.
How many deep balls did he hit on?
I don't know. He did hit a fair amount in the second half.
No, he did not. He had the one to Deontay, and then from there he had 2 PIs that drew him down there. So how many did he connect on? Whereas with Mason, we saw him connect on not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 of them things yesterday. 2 touchdowns. I don't like the pick. The pick was terrible. I agree with you on that. But as a whole, you can make a strong case that over the past 4 weeks, not saying that he's a better quarterback than Ben. We're not debating that. We're not saying
depending on what you like.
Yeah, and we're not even
but I'll take Ben with the Colts.
I'm not saying depending on what you like. I'm saying what do we critique Ben on this year the most? Accuracy and deep ball throws. Those been the two things. What did we see Mason excel at yesterday? Accuracy and deep ball throws. So I can
say Ben better in the pocket though.
What does that
leading
mean?
Drives, winning the game.
Mean? What does that mean? Better in the pocket. What does that mean?
Dude, Mason. I don't want to do this.
Passes. That's what I'm saying. What does that mean?
Yeah, but we won the game and Ben went off for like 330 and 3 touchdowns.
Why are you taking it personal then?
Huh?
Why are you taking it personal?
I'm just saying he had the better game. That's all.
I said it's debatable. That's all.
Sure, that's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine.
You want it that way because you stop being so sensitive with Ben. God, no, I can't even say my man Mason over the past 4 weeks. All I simply said was Mason is debatable the best quarterback play we've seen during that 4-game stretch, and you can't even acknowledge. God, I just said. Stop, man. Ben loves you, okay? Ben loves you. I promise. He loves you. He appreciates your support. I promise he does. But Lord, I
had to throw my take out there.
Jesus.
And like I said, as I was doing it, I'm like, I really don't want to do this because I really did think Mason had a great game. I don't want to belittle the game. No, I don't. I really don't.
Holy cow. Why are Ben fans so sensitive? That's what I want to know. Y'all are the most insecure people. When it comes to 7, y'all get really insecure. Y'all don't want any criticism of him. You're a hater. You hate Ben. If you oh man, you don't love Ben. If you even talk about the future, oh man, what you hating on Ben? You sleeping on Ben? What? Like, God, y'all the most sensitive people. Super sensitive. I love y'all, but y'all gotta please, jeez, just woosah.
Okay, what were you saying?
Anywho, but what I was saying in terms of Mason, man, I do feel like as a whole, man.
Dude, that one got you heated. You're sweating.
Because the only reason I started sweating because I try to make sure I got to remember when I'm on air. It's certain things I can say and certain things I can't say. And a lot of times, if anyone knows me on a personal level.
You could say it here.
No. The reason I don't is because number one, it's a brand, right?
Well, I know that, but you've talked to this about me before. Yeah. I completely botched up my words there. But
it's big picture here. So that's why for me, it's like, yeah, it takes a lot of work. When I get a little worked up, I'm a little excited about something. I gotta.
It seems unfair because I'm allowed, right?
You got the green light.
I'm allowed to drop shoot or
shoot. Yeah, shoot or shoot. You're good. This is different. Yeah. But that's why it's like, all right, we're going there, but we're not gonna go there. But we're gonna say it this way. Makes me have to work a little bit harder. That's all. But either way, man.
Yeah.
Mason did play well. We all can agree upon that. Mason played well.
I tweeted out. I in fact said great.
I like it though. Either way, it's all gravy. All right. So what's the next one? But yeah, I do think that he played well enough to ultimately keep them from drafting a guy early. That's the root of the question, right? Is he going to get? Would you draft a quarterback first, second round after what you saw yesterday with Mason?
No, need to. Let's get a lineman. Depending on what Juju does, maybe a receiver.
Absolutely, man. Or even with James, if James stays, then you're good. But if he leaves, you probably going to want to get another running back in there as well, man.
People are clamoring for the RB.
Yeah. I saw people talking about Trey Sermon. I was like, I don't feel like he's going to be available to us, though. Do you?
I don't know.
Look good, though.
I actually have no clue who the hell he is. I have no clue. I barely watch college football.
Man, so running back, Ohio State, like, bro, he went.
I know the Bama RB and the Clemson one. Those are the ones that everyone's talking about.
Najee Harris is the one from Bama, and then Travis Etienne is the one from Clemson. Yeah. But Sermon, dude, his performance was that, I think it was Saturday, it might have been Saturday. He looked like the best running back in college football. And that's speaking a lot because obviously Travis Etienne was on that field. And then obviously you've seen Najee Harris, I want to say earlier versus Notre Dame. Dude, Sermon, he looked like a man. Okay. So that's why people are bringing him up
I'll check the tapes in the offseason.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I'm like, we're still, we're going to get to that. But that's later on. But yeah, he did look good. He looked real good. All right. Now this next one, let's see. This is from Sergio Bravo. All right. Hi, from Mexico. Hope you and your family are doing well. Why do you think Dobbs didn't throw the ball at all? What is your opinion on the defense's performance? Because it seemed that they were a little off with pass coverage and obviously struggled containing Baker scrambling. He also said that we have the best Steelers podcast out there.
Wow.
Shout out to you, Sergio, in Mexico. Shout out.
We've come a long way.
We definitely have. In terms of why they didn't allowed Dobbs to throw the ball. I think they went in there with that mindset. And actually, they did. They wanted to. They were setting it up. They kept doing the zone read. Then he finally pulled it. But the problem was when he pulled it, Olivier Vernon wasn't full. That was the play where he is about to get sacked. He kind of fights out of it. Actually, about to run, and he just throws the ball away. So they were setting up that play. That was what they were hunting. That's why the whole first half, it was no passes by Dobbs, just run. They were looking for it. It just wasn't there. And I don't think they felt comfortable enough, expanding that package to keep going back to Dobbs throwing. I think they wanted Dobbs to solely use him in a zone read capacity with just one or two play action passes off of that. Whereas when they wanted to really throw the ball, they wanted to use Mason for that. And I thought that was why it looked the way it did out there and why both of those guys, the plays were called specifically like that. Not saying that Dobbs isn't capable of it, but obviously even last year when we were evaluating both of those guys, right? We said that, man, Dobbs gives you more well-roundedness it's in terms of decent enough passer, really good runner. Whereas with Mason, he's going to give you really, really good passing, but not a lot in terms of athletic ability and running. So it was more so what you wanted between the two. But with Dobbs, man, yeah, I just don't think they wanted to utilize him throwing the ball like that. I don't think they needed to, especially with Mason, playing the way that he did.
What was the second question?
The defense. Yeah, the defense. In terms of just their overall performance, and did we have any concerns going forward with Baker's scrambling?
What he mentioned about Baker, I did want to mention this when we were talking about defense earlier, and the running game. He was a big part of the Browns' running game.
He definitely was.
I couldn't believe it. It was so frustrating, too, because it seemed like our coverage was good. You can't really tell from the TV angle, but he'd be sitting in the pocket for like 5, 6, 7 seconds, and all of a sudden he'd be able to scramble out. Right? Yeah, and then get a first down. That was a big part of their game because I thought the defense as a whole played pretty well, especially after that first drive. That was just really frustrating, but then we did finally get him for that sack on that last drive. We got the ball back. I think we ended up scoring. Then we did the onside kick and we didn't get it. But yeah, I think that was a big part of their game.
Have you ever seen in an onside kick them rule possession that fast? I'm looking at I'm like, bro, I watched the replay. I still couldn't see who had the ball. And I don't even remember once they got out the power who had the ball. And they were already, I'm talking as soon as the Steelers players got down there, they were already pointing possession and clearly on tape, the tight end, like the guy who's like fumbling around with the ball. I was like, this is crazy.
Who came out with it? I didn't even see.
No one saw it. That's the thing.
The ball disappeared.
Literally, bro, once you see him fumbling around with the ball where they show the slow-mo and you see like Dangerfield jump in there and a couple other guys, the one referee near the Steelers side was already pointing possession ball to Cleveland. We're like, bro, how do it's not his ball right now. You don't even know who has his ball right now. You're not even at the bottom of this thing. And they literally never show who comes out the power with the ball. They just rule possession and go from there.
At the end of the day, it worked out for us, though.
It did. Because we got the one we wanted.
Let's not complain too much.
Yes, because I was like, it could have been the other way. And then Mason comes back and we win and they're like, oh, hey, your reward.
Baltimore.
You're like, all right. Not saying we're not scared of them. And that's the thing. It's like, we're not saying that we fear them.
It's chess. You're just trying to play chess. What gives us the best chance here?
Because at this point, it's not about style points. It's not about, you got to beat the toughest teams to get respect. No. Playoff time, you want the easiest, shortest road to the Super Bowl. That's it. If that's the case, who cares about the first round bye? No. You want the easy road come playoffs. So trust me, we're not tripping, baby. We're not tripping. But
no, yeah, if we were playing them, all of a sudden now we're saying,
all right, this
is how we beat them. This is what we got to do.
You know what I mean? We want it all. Like, it's different, but right here, hey, if we could avoid said obstacle now, I'm not going to, fault you for doing that. I'm going to just say you're wise.
Just like how many times probably, the 3-4 times we were 8-8, we missed the playoffs. Mm-hmm. You would hear how many times on SportsCenter, ESPN, some of these NFL coverages. Yeah. Oh man, Pittsburgh, they're coming hot at the end of the season. This is the one team you don't want to see in the playoffs. It's just matter of fact stuff. Yes, for us to miss the playoffs, it probably helps other teams' chances of advancing.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And not only that, just think about how physical that Ravens.
Because people are saying that about Ravens right now. They're like, you don't want to be playing the Ravens.
No question. But you think about how physical that game is going to be between Ravens and Titans. That's going to linger on into next week. There's going to be some unhealthy guys playing that following week because of how physical that game is going to be. I'm just glad that we ain't got to deal with that. We would much rather be a lot healthier and feeling a lot better going into that following week versus having to go through that type of slugfest of a match. Not saying that we can't win, and we definitely can. We've already beat those teams as well, but it's a different level that you're gonna have to go to get up out of that, and we don't need that right now. We're good. We good. Let's keep the good times rolling. Keep them rolling. All right, and speaking of keeping the good times rolling, we are down to our final question of good times.
This is one of the GOAT podcasts right now. This is a good one.
This is. It is. And I didn't curse today. I'm proud of myself. Boy, I was close. I was like, Lord, don't you do it. Don't you do it. Your mama watching. Your daddy watching.
Do they watch?
They do. They tune in.
Yeah, my parents tune in too.
Yeah, they tune in. Tune in. I feel like, it's good to have support, right? You gotta get, every once in a while, my little man G, right? Shout out to Gray. He's always watching us, right? You've seen him pull up on his iPad, and I never created him a YouTube account, right? Because I was like, bro, you don't need to like and subscribe. You just watch whatever. And he's like, Dad, I need an account. I'm like, yo, what's going on? Why? He's like, look, man, so I follow this person, I follow that person. I want to subscribe and like their videos, but I can't. And I'm like, all right, well, who else you going to like and subscribe? He's like, well, I got to like you first, though, because you're dad and you record right here. I'm like, you know what, son? Every like and subscriber counts. I'm creating an account. So we created one. He liked that, subscribed this. And then, of course, me being dad, I went through and just kind of liked on like every picture, every video that we post for like 20 minutes. So yeah, so shout out to him. Shout out to him. All right. So now that we're here, Mr. Alejandro Hernandez. Do you think the Browns winning do you think them winning and letting them play us in the first round is going to come back to bite us? He's talking about the Browns in this scenario.
No. Because I don't think we were tanking the game.
Nah.
We were trying to win. We were just being smart.
Funny thing was this. I was a little surprised at a couple of things. Number one, in terms of the players that we kept out, in terms of Ben, TJ, Cam, right? And it looked like, okay, you're going to keep out the usual guys. But then fourth quarter, I'm like, that's Minkah Fitzpatrick still out there. Like, Minkah was definitely still out there.
With all our receivers, yeah.
All the receivers. I say, man,
James Conner.
Everyone was out there minus the couple, 4 or 5 people. And I was like, yo, this is crazy. So, yeah, we were definitely competing. And that's the other thing that I had to keep, talking about earlier today too, the whole JV narrative. I'm like, we weren't really a JV team. Like, we didn't have our quarterback. So it's the difference between like having our full strength, which when you talk about us at full strength, Ben, TJ, and Cam are 3 major pieces there aren't out there, without a doubt. It's not even a debate. But to say it's a JV team, we didn't put out a JV team. Man, when you think about the receivers, the O-line, the secondary, the linebackers we had out there, Vince Williams played the first half with Avery Williamson. Like, we had guys out there. It wasn't like the Baltimore scenario where they're just putting whoever out there, or the Niners when they had to play, or the Broncos when they're out there, all these different, no quarterback. It wasn't that type of scenario. But that's why for me, I still appreciated and respected what they did, number one, and getting the win, but more so what we did, because when you talk about those 3 guys, if we take the top 3 players off of the Browns team and tell them to go out there and play, I don't think they have the type of game that we had. So it's a true testament to us as a whole. But like I said, for the Browns, I was like, people use it to kind of like cut their legs off. And I'm like, man, we could give them that. 18 years, I'll give you that little bit right there. Y'all did earn the victory, because it wasn't like we just had the practice squad out there. That wasn't the case, man.
Yeah, and it wasn't just given.
Heck no.
I thought we played good.
We did. We it looked like how it was supposed to look. It looked like we should fight them to the bitter end, but at the end, they should make that extra play. They should be the ones to close it out, right? And for the people that were that were in Cleveland and stuff like that, they say you could feel it, man. They were getting nervous. They was looking around.
Oh, you could definitely tell.
See it. They got tight.
The Claypool touchdown.
Yes, they started looking around. Yes. So for me, I said, man, that went best case scenario for us, because we didn't want to get the win because of the things we talked about in terms of that first round matchup. But we wanted to see the guys play well. We wanted to see them compete. We wanted to see Deontay, Claypool, and Juju. Think about the confidence they're about to have going into this next game. If they carve those guys up with Mason at quarterback, imagine how they're feeling right now, knowing they're going to have 7 this week. Just think about that. Imagine if you're Alex Highsmith and you beat Jedrick Wills twice. Now, 1 you got the sack on, but you didn't even get the sack on the good rush. His awesome rush, he had an inside spin. 2, he got the sack on that. I said, man, this is crazy. But you think about this. If
now you got TJ on the other side.
Exactly.
Cam Hayward.
You thought Tuitt by himself was giving you problems on the inside. Imagine when it's Cam on the opposite side of him. Like, that's different. You had Vince for a half. We said the first half, running game, outside of that long run, we played well for the most part. Second half, it kind of got bad. Vince Williams ain't coming out in the second half. You're not going to see Marcus Allen and Avery Williamson for that game to come to playoffs. No. You're getting Vince. Excuse me, Vince with a capital B. That's who you getting. It's a little bit different, man.
Is Edmonds going to play?
We don't know right now.
Damn, what happened?
Nobody knows. I'm still trying to figure out. They've been so tight-lipped about what's going on. I'm just like, bro, I don't know. I don't know what happened to him. It surprised all of us, because we were like, if anything, the safety would be Minkah. we were like, whoa, Edmonds, like, what is this? Yeah, so I don't know right now, man.
They said it wasn't just like rest. They said like injury.
Yeah, he said injury. So that's why I was like, I don't know, because he was definitely ruled as injury. Cam, TJ, Ben were ruled as like the air mail. I'm sending these guys to the playoffs. So yeah, I don't know, man. I do not know what's going on with them, bro.
Yeah, because I didn't feel like there was any like malintent with how we operated this week at all.
No, it was good.
We have our spot locked up. We're really not going to change it all unless Buffalo loses. So we're gonna put out our guys because we don't do the whole we're gonna try to handpick. I don't know if any team does that, but especially not us.
Not us.
With Tomlin, he's like, I don't. We play who we play.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, it worked out for us, but you just play who you play. Like if you start ducking and dodging, man, what ends up happening is you're so afraid of one team that you'll get the team that you quote unquote wanted, and then you'll let down a little bit. Yeah. You're not gonna prepare the same because you don't have that fear. Sometimes you make your best things happen when you're scared. That fight or flight mentality, man, that it will really show you who you really are in some of those moments. But yeah, the Steelers, they never ducking teams. That's the thing we say. Like, we're not scared of Baltimore or Tennessee. It's just like, man, when we're talking about advance to a Super Bowl, though, it's drastically different than trying to get respect in a regular season. Respect in a regular season, you want the tough teams, right? We talked about, man, yeah, all right, we beat them. Cool. All right, bet. Yeah, we beat them. Put a respect on our name. Playoff time, I don't care about none of that. Man, you could give me the softest of the softest. I don't care. That championship's still gonna say championship on it. Oh, it's Mickey Mouse. It's asterisk. You call it whatever you want to call it. As long as you shine my ring, that's all I care about. Period. That's how I feel, man. So yeah, man. I don't think though that this helps the Browns. And if anything, I think they are a lot more nervous. But not only that, I think that they're gonna really have to guard against this. And I don't know if they are capable of it based on their leadership. And I'm talking about Baker here. When you go 18 years without making the playoffs, that's a long time. You go 18, like think about just 18 years. I mean, if you're a Steelers fan, 18 years, you could have seen multiple Super Bowls.
This is Pittsburgh Pirates shit right here.
Yeah, but even then, right? Like that's what it was like. So to see them celebrate the way that they did, right? They got the shirts made. It was a big deal, and rightfully so. I mean, you talk about 18 years. That's a long. I don't like no one in Pittsburgh. I really feel understands from a football standpoint what that's like.
Baseball's different than football,
right? Because baseball, the Pirates still had a wild card game in 2014, I think it wasn't. And granted, wild card in baseball is a lot different than wild card in football.
I don't know if you know this though. It was literally a 20+ year drought of Pirates missing the playoffs.
Okay.
It was from the 90s up until that point where they made the wild card. Okay. So it was a big deal. But my point is, Steelers, Brown, like those are way bigger for those respective cities.
Absolutely, man, way bigger. So to me, I just feel like they're gonna have to guard against that hangover, and it is very real. I can tell you firsthand experience. Me and a lot of the younger players that you see now, Vince, Shazier during the time, a lot of us in 2014 when we won the division that Saturday night, or excuse me, the Sunday night game they got flexed against the Bengals 2014. First time winning the division for all of us. I mean, for the Steelers, they had back-to-back 8-8 seasons, so we win this, and it's a big deal for us, right? We're going crazy. We felt a hangover that next week, man. As much as you're preparing for that Ravens game, like the edge, you're still just like, bro, we won this division. Like, we did that. And you get out there and it's like, they don't care about that. They punching us in the mouth right now. And then you got to warm up to it. And now it's too late. You're playing catch up. To me, I feel like the Browns, because they don't have a lot of guys on that team with experience winning. They don't have a lot of playoff success. They don't have guys in that organization as a whole. It's not like when you're talking about Steelers where, okay, I might not have had playoff experience, but you still had Ben, you had Troy, you had Coach T, you had Kevin Colbert, all these guys who've had success. Kevin Stefanski, this is his first year as a head coach. Like, he don't know how to handle this all the way just yet. So to me, that's something that I'm going to be interested to see how the Browns handle it. And the reason why I said it's going to be on Baker, because he's the leader of it. They're looking to him. And Baker, he was one of the most hyped guys through it all. So how does he handle that? How does he set the tone for these guys come Wednesday and so forth throughout that week? Because in Pittsburgh, we know how to handle this. This isn't new to us. This isn't foreign to us. These guys on this team, a lot of these guys have already been to the playoffs. A lot of these guys have already tasted what it's like. They've tasted defeat there as well. You think about TJ. TJ's first playoff experience was losing to the Jaguars, right? So he tasted a little bit. We've had some guys on that team that know what that feels like, and they're going to be able to convey that. They're going to be fine. Cleveland, that's going to be the real one. How do they handle it? I don't know. I think that they choke in the moment because Sunday you saw them. Football. Absolutely. Like, this is going to be the biggest game that they've had. Absolutely. This is going to be major. So, yeah, I'm excited for us. Nervous for them, though.
Yeah, I'm excited too. This is going to be great.
Absolutely, man. But shout out to you, Alejandro. It was a good question, baby.
You got anything else?
I don't.
I might have a hot topic.
What you got, man?
If we got time.
Go ahead.
Joe Hayden, what are we doing here? How do you feel now?
What you mean?
He's going to be out, right?
Yeah, I thought him. I'm waiting to see what's the situation with Ebron and Cassius Marsh. More so Ebron, because those three were the guys together. For those that don't know, late last week they got ruled out. Joe tested positive for COVID, but the reason why it's significant is because now the new protocols are you have to sit in isolation 10 days. He got listed on Saturday, so you do the math, 10 days. Doesn't matter. Saturday or Sunday night, he's not available. But Eric Ebron and Cassius Marsh were with him during the holidays, and they were deemed as close contacts, and that's why they weren't allowed to play. Now we're waiting to see, the retesting and stuff to make sure it's not like a Dez Bryant type situation where it was a positive and then it turns to be a negative. We're still trying to figure that out, but as it stands today, there won't be any Joe Hayden, man. And that could be significant. I don't think it hurts you though.
This is the game. This is the game where you're like, yes. Okay,
if it had to be one, if it had to be one, this is the one, because I don't like our DBs against the Colts receivers minus Joe
Bills
Hayden.
Or Chiefs, I wouldn't be too.
Not at all. I don't like any of them.
I'm not thrilled now, but yeah,
even Titans, honestly, because AJ Brown and Nate Davis, not Nate Davis, Corey Davis. Yeah, they've been impressive with Tannehill this year. So I wouldn't even want to see that right now. But in terms of Cleveland, yeah, that doesn't scare me. I mean, you even saw yesterday, right? What receivers were out there really eating it up? Jarvis had his plays, but it was more so like him running the ball than anything. Like, he's just a physical guy, but he's not the guy that's going to scare you in terms of his route running and downfield stuff. And even yesterday with Baker wasn't the best quarterback in the stadium. He wasn't. So, yeah, Baker doesn't scare me with his arm, man. I'm not worried about that at all. I'm not. I feel like if anything, if that was Baker's A game, it's going to be a lot worse come, Sunday when we got the full gamut on defense.
Yeah, if we were missing Hayward or Tuitt, I'd be a lot more concerned.
Yes, because I feel like Baker struggles obviously with the pressure, right? But knowing that you're going to have those guys, yeah, I feel very confident. And along with the fact that all that running he was doing, it's cool when you're out there and you don't have the guy.
That was a big part of their second half.
It was. But I just know you run like that against this defense long enough, it catches up to you. It does. So Baker, I hope for me personally, I hope he continues it, because I'm like, yeah, shout out to the backup. He's not Baker. So, we might be seeing him a little bit sooner if he continues to do that whole I'm going to run and scramble thing. Because Stills, man, they hit.
You mentioned Tannehill. I got to tip my cap. I'm done. He's off the hate list. He's done. I mean, the throw he made
I'm
at the
mad
end
with
of the
him,
game.
actually.
Why?
Because of the throw he made at the end of the game.
Lost your money.
No, I really want to see Derrick Henry break the record.
Oh.
Yeah, he was at 2,000.
I thought he needed like 100 more.
No. The record is 2,105. I think
that's what I mean. I think he was only in the low 2000s, wasn't he?
Think about it. He was at 2,045 at one point. And and literally he was about to go into overtime. Yeah, literally.
So if he would have went to overtime, he would have got more yards.
He was going to get that easily.
Yeah.
Easily. They weren't stopping him. No. But when he makes that pass, yeah, they kicked the field goal. Now I don't get a chance to see him break the record. I was a little sad. But no, he was super close.
He's not the Tannehill I grew up with. He's not.
He's not Miami. So you mean to tell me Bug Eyes is the problem?
Who?
Mr. Gase. Because I was the guy down there. The same guy that got fired just yesterday. That guy.
What did he? His claim to fame is then just being with Manning, right?
That was it. That's the whole reason why he got the job in Miami, and the whole reason why he got the job in New York.
I was just about to ask. Mm-hmm. Is he going to find a job as a coordinator somewhere? You think, like offensive coordinator?
Nah, I don't know. That was pretty.
Because people are probably just going to point to Manning then.
Outside of that, when have we seen a lot of success? Yeah,
I can't even say success as a success.
Yeah, man. So I ain't opposed to it though.
What? Him getting another job?
No. In terms of him not getting another job, I said I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
I just wanted to shout out Tannehill. Like he's been playing good, man.
Yeah, I was impressed. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
You were right on your take.
I'm sorry.
Huh?
I'm sorry. I didn't want to be right.
What do you mean?
I wanted you to be right, man. I think when you're right.
I'm thinking back to the Wentz and Tannehill debate, and this just looks bad. It is aged the worst.
Between Wentz and Tannehill, me and you had, and then on my other show, I had Wentz and Dak Prescott. That was my other debate, and I'm
I went Wentz on that one too.
Yeah,
that's terrible right now.
It's looking bad, and I don't like his attitude. And this is off topic. Obviously, this is Pittsburgh, but I just don't like how you finally face some adversity in terms of Wentz. And not even physical, like, because obviously he's had adversity with the ACL in the back, but you finally face some adversity where you're playing bad. They decide to switch you at quarterback, and the first thing you say is, "I want to get moved. I don't want to be here anymore." Like,
he said that.
Yes,
I heard some rumors.
No, multiple times now. He's put it out there that he doesn't want to be a backup, and he said he would facilitate. He would work with the organization and his contract, restructuring it to facilitate a trade. To me, I'm like, that's a loser's mentality. I understand people will spin it. Well, he's trying to do his best for him, man, and things like that. But I'm like, if you're part of a team, which we always say we are, right?
Don't say it now, at least, right?
Right, exactly. Like don't now that you've lost your job, now all of a sudden you want to. Oh man, yeah, man, get me up out of here. Like, come on, bro, compete.
You would have been fine with the offseason, right? If you would have done that.
Still, honestly, no.
But that's a year of your career. Like, if you have the potential to start somewhere.
But this is my thing. If you got the potential to start, beat them out.
That's fair. Yeah.
You just got the extension.
Okay, well, hold on. How about this? This? He beats him out. They officially name Hurts to start.
Yeah.
What about that?
Then that's different.
Yeah.
But now,
I agree. That's fine.
Right now,
if there's an open competition, you have a chance to beat him out. Do that.
And let's be real. Has Doug Peterson said Hurts is our guy forever going forward? No. So to me, I'm like, why are you quitting that quick? Like, because you face some adversity and they're like, we're going to go with this guy for these last 2 games. And all of a sudden you want to just quit. If you nice like you say you are, if you're as good as you say you are, beat this dude out in the offseason. And that's why I always have an issue when we talk about competition, right? Because every other position on the roster, this is life in the NFL for every other position. It doesn't matter if you're talking kicker, long snapper. I seen them bring in kicker every single. I see them every single time. No, seriously, like in during the offseason and during the regular season, they bring in kickers daily to compete with these guys daily. But when it comes to quarterback, we're always like, no, we don't need no competition with those guys. We ain't gonna we don't ruffle any feathers. And then you get this dude right here in terms of Wentz talking about, man, well, shoot, if I ain't gonna be the guy, you get me up out of here. You think I wish imagine if. When Deontay was getting more targets than Juju, if Juju would have said, look, if I ain't going to be the number 1 guy, you go ahead and trade me. We would have went crazy on Juju. The media would have had a field day with Juju. Let's be real. We would have been like, yo, that's soft. What are you doing? If James Conner would have said, well, look, man. No, not James. If Benny Snell would have, man, look, bro. I don't want to be James backup. I feel like I'm the guy. Trade me. Get me up out of here. We've been going crazy on him. Benny, who are you, Benny? What have you done, Benny? Like, we would have gone on like that. But with Winston over here, like, well, he's doing what's best for his career. This is one year of his career. He got to be careful. He got to be smart. Get out of here. Compete. Everyone else does it. Compete. If you nice like you say you are, you should be able to do it. Let's be real.
Maybe there is a little bit of a difference where there could be still a market for Wentz being a starting back or starting quarterback, whereas with Snow. Now, Juju, see, it's just such a different scenario, even with receivers, because you have multiple guys out there at the same time. I think running back's probably the closest.
Running back, sure, but at receiver, you can be mad about not getting targets. We've seen AB; he's definitely voiced it numerous times. It's no different. And the difference was this, right? They switched it, and obviously AB started getting the targets. But if AB were to continue to not get the targets that he wanted, he would have definitely.
You talking about in Tampa or here?
No, I'm talking about when he was here. When he was here, especially like it was time.
Like he was the best receiver for 6 years.
Yes, but I'm saying it was. There were games where he was not targeted as much as he wanted to get targeted, and he voiced that publicly. All I'm saying is this: if that would have continued, that would have grown into him asking to be traded, and we would have went and people would have got on him and went crazy on him. All I'm saying is when it comes to quarterbacks. Why is it viewed differently? When it comes to Wentz, we're over here trying to make every type of excuse for Wentz. I'm like,
I really don't think it was a good thing to be doing during the season. I'm just looking at it from like a business standpoint, though. I do agree with you. If you're on the team and he hasn't named the starter, then go and compete.
What's the difference between the business standpoint for Wentz because he's a quarterback versus if it was Benny Snell who hasn't?
Like I said, I don't know what the market is though. But like Fournette, if it was Fournette and there's a market for it, sure.
But you want to know your market until you got out there, anyways, right? We can assume what the market is.
That's
we
the risk you got to take,
right?
But I'm good with that.
See, for me, I just feel like it's if you get clearly beat out, sure, right? If they make it and hey, look, and you're never going to be the starter here as long as Hurts here. That's one thing. They have not said that.
That's what I mean. The timing's bad. So let's see what happens in 6 months. That's why when you keep saying like,
oh, if it was the offseason, I'm like, that still isn't the same to me because he hasn't said that. Yeah.
I agree with you. If they lose the competition, they say Hurts, I think he should be fine with saying, hey, can you trade me? I want to start somewhere. Because there might be a few teams that say, hey, we're going to give Wentz a chance to start. There might be. If that's the case. But that's what I mean. Like Fournette, we could even just use Snell. He's like, man, I want to test the waters. I want to be a starting back somewhere. Yeah. If there's 2 or 3 teams that say, hey, we're going to give you a chance, then that's fine. I think you should take that risk if you want to.
I just feel like if you're going to do it, you do it when it's not in response to you losing your starting spot on the fly like
right,
that.
Like if you get beat out, did that in the middle of the season, it's not a good look.
You don't do that. It's not a good look. And especially as the quarterback, the quote-unquote face of the franchise. That's just not a good look, man. Not at all. Any other hot topics?
No, that was it. That was it.
That, though. Shout out to Tannehill, man.
I'm good, man.
Shout out to Tannehill. All right.
I'm done hating because he is. I put him and Cousins and Garoppolo and that. He's head and shoulders above those guys now.
Yeah,
he definitely is.
I agree.
I don't have the rankings off the top of my head. I think I even threw him in the top 10 at some point, so he's probably in the top 10. He probably is.
Okay.
I don't have him off the top of my head, but
I can't wait till we do like the end of the year, just kind of like review of everything. Like when the seat like February like is over, and we do like, all right. Based on what we saw, not going forward, just off of this year. Who's our top this, top that? You know what I mean? Like, I'm excited about that, man. Here's the thing,
though. It's we already seen enough. Like you can just. Do you need to talk about that? Because it's not as.
Well, during the off season, content you got to find content. So that's perfect content. So yes, actually yes. It's not like we got a game once the Super Bowl ends. It's not like we could just say, oh, we're gonna look for us at the next opponent. Nah, we don't have that luxury. So yeah. We
look back on some of our takes.
We definitely will. We're gonna look back on some of these position groups. Some of these teams, some of everything. We're going to have a little fun.
Okay.
Have a little fun.
Yeah. Works for me, dude.
So, yeah, man. But, yeah, if you're good, I'm good, baby.
I'm good. This was a long podcast.
Oh, yeah. All right.
We got 2 podcasts.
So, anywho, shout out to everybody that tuned in, man. Shout out to all the subscribers. Shout out to everybody that participated in the watch party as well, man. Big time blast with y'all. Yeah. It was all good. And until next time, baby.
Peace.